Thanks for dropping in. In this video, I discovered that screen reflection was still a big problem in the 1990s, that every computer in existence seems to need a CR2032 battery for some reason. Maybe they have become sentient and are multiplying, ready for world domination. And I discovered that it wasn't just the flip phone that had a cool movement that absolutely would impress a date in the 1990s. The other day, I was at my local car boot sale with my wife. I'd finished looking around and was ambling out when my wife asked if Psions were of any interest. I plucked up my ears and replied yes, if working and good condition. How much did they want for it? She replied, I think it was about £2. After becoming excited in a way no one ever should over a piece of 1990s hardware, I ran off to find the hidden gem I'd obviously just completely disregarded and mistaken as yet another old bike tyre and pair of trainers that were due the bin 27 years ago on my first pass. So here it is. It looks like we have the Psion 5MX, a PDA or personal digital assistant, which released in 1999 and was an upgraded version of the original Series 5 released in 1997. The 5MX has a faster processor, clearer LCD display and updated software than the original Series 5. The Series 5 itself was a massive upgrade over the predecessor, the Series 3. On paper, the Series 5 and 5MX are very similar, but apparently internally the PCB design was very different. Interestingly, one of the cool unique features, the sliding keyboard design, upon opening, put a strain on the display cable, and over time caused this to fail. A different cable was used on the Series 5MX, which actually made the situation worse, and was a common failure point to the extent that separate replacement cables were available. So I won't be opening and closing this too much. You'll also see a lack of any storage mentioned here. This is because everything, excluding the OS, was stored in RAM, the 16MB in this case. Therefore, if both the two AA batteries and CR2032 battery were moved at the same time, you lost all your files and settings. Nice. The side of the box has the same basic specs we've just seen, and inside we have the 5MX itself. For $19.99, it is a neat little unit. We also have a doorstop of a manual, and a serial to something or other cable for data transfer to a PC. These days something like this would just use a USB, but not back in 1999. We also have various other bits of paperwork, such as a quick start guide and brochure for accessories. It's nice these are still here after all this time, as in many cases they would have just been discarded at the beginning. Another cool, slightly ahead of its time feature was a stylus incorporated into the unit, which pops out with a satisfying click. Eat your heart out, Galaxy S Pen. This works on the touchscreen. Yep, in 1999, a touchscreen. On one side there's a slot for CF cards, and on the back a cover for the 2xA batteries this uses for power. Again, these days this would just be a built-in rechargeable battery. The advantage here is that you're not limited to the around 500 recharge cycles a battery would have, and if you get low on juice while out and about, you can just pop into any convenience store or supermarket, grab a couple of AAs, and you're good to go again in minutes. To be honest, the rotating cover does feel a bit flimsy, so I'm surprised it's lasted this long, but hey. The other side contains the CR2032 memory backup battery, and as mentioned earlier, the device needs power from either this or the two AA batteries at all times to retain your files on its volatile memory. No risk there then. NAND was a wonderful invention. On opening, the keyboard slides forward, to me resembling the original novelty of flip phones from the early 2000s, where people would walk constantly flipping them, I guess imagining they were from the Matrix. But you wouldn't want to do that here due to the previously mentioned slight design flaw, which means your cool look in time would damage your display. It is a proper keyboard however, no touchscreen here, and I find it surprisingly nice to type on. A lot easier to use than a phone or tablet if you actually need to type anything of any length. The monochrome screen is not bad, maybe a little faint, but does have a backlight if needed, although having that on does kill the battery. One major drawback in practical terms, however, is the highly reflective screen. A matte finish to reduce the reflections would probably have been a better option. But it does have all the handy apps that you would consider standard even on a phone now, but would have been very novel to have on something this size in 1999. There's a word processor, spreadsheet, reflections blocking the camera. Games, like the Minesweeper clone. I never was much good at that. And an email client, which I'm sure worked at the time, not so sure now. And I guess it was only for syncing purposes with the PC, as this has no way of getting onto the internet or internet access itself. There's also the calculator, as you can't have an electronics device from the 80s or 90s that isn't a calculator. There's also the OPL built-in programming language, which added a whole lot of extra functionality, with many additional professional and amateur programs being available. Doom was even ported to it, although no, I don't think it would run Crysis. So there we have it, a very neat little PDA computer from 1999. Is it any good today? No. Not really. By today's standards, the display is terrible, there's no modern Wi-Fi connectivity, and the volatile storage of everything is a showstopper in 2025. However, it was, in 1999, just so neat. Today, you just use your phone for most things, and a laptop if you need an actual physical keyboard. Did you use one of these back in the day? Please like and subscribe. Leave any comments below. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.